Hello, and welcome back to Human Behavior Lab. I'm New York, your host and observer. Today, we're going to examine something quite fundamental, the origins of self-control.
Hi everyone, I'm Juan. Self-control, huh? That sounds like a big topic. Like why some people can resist eating that second slice of cake and others can't.
Precisely. But today, we're not looking at adult willpower. We're going further back, much further. A recent longitudinal study published in a developmental psychology journal suggests that the roots of self-control may begin in infancy, specifically related to breastfeeding practices.
Wait, really? Breastfeeding and self-control are connected? That's not something I expected to hear today. How does that even work?
Let's examine the facts first. The study, published in a peer-reviewed developmental psychology journal, followed a large sample of children over several years. The researchers were investigating whether breastfeeding duration correlated with later self-regulation abilities.
Okay, so they tracked babies over time and then measured their self-control later? How do you even measure self-control in kids?
Excellent question. The researchers used validated psychological assessments, things like the famous marshmallow test paradigm, parent reports, and executive function tasks. These measure a child's ability to delay gratification, control impulses, and regulate emotions.
The marshmallow test. I've heard of that. That's where kids have to choose between one treat now or two later, right?
Correct. It's a classic measure of delayed gratification. Now, the study found that children who were breastfed for longer durations showed better self-regulation skills in later assessments. But here's where it becomes interesting from a structural perspective. The researchers suggest this isn't just about nutrition.
Wait, so it's not about the breast milk itself? Then what is it about?
The researchers propose that breastfeeding requires something unique from the infant. Unlike bottle feeding, where flow is often faster and more consistent, breastfeeding demands active effort. The infant must coordinate sucking, swallowing, and breathing. They must work for their food.
So the baby has to practice patience, even as a tiny infant?
That's the hypothesis. The infant learns early that gratification requires effort and regulation. They cannot simply consume passively, they must modulate their own behavior to achieve their goal. This is essentially early training in self-regulation.
This is fascinating. But can we back up a bit? I want to understand what self-control actually means in psychology. Like, what are we really talking about here?
Of course. In psychology, self-control is often discussed under the broader term executive function. This refers to a set of mental processes that enable us to plan, focus attention, remember instructions, and manage multiple tasks simultaneously.
Executive function. That sounds like corporate speak, but I guess it makes sense. It's like having a CEO in your brain managing everything?
That's actually a very common analogy. The prefrontal cortex, located right here, behind your forehead, acts as the CEO. It's responsible for what we call top-down control, overriding impulsive reactions that originate in more primitive brain regions.
So when I impulsively want to check my phone while working, that's my primitive brain, and my prefrontal cortex is supposed to stop me?
Precisely. And here's what's remarkable: the prefrontal cortex develops slowly. It's not fully matured until around age 25. This means childhood experiences can significantly shape how this control system develops.
So early experiences matter a lot for something that develops over 25 years?
They create foundational patterns. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself, is highest in early development. Repeated experiences during this window can strengthen certain neural pathways. The breastfeeding study is essentially suggesting that the effort required during feeding may strengthen early self-regulation pathways.
That's incredible. So something as simple, well, maybe not simple, but something as natural as feeding can actually train the brain?
Let's delve deeper into the mechanism. The researchers propose something they call early practice theory. The idea is that self-regulation is not purely innate, it's also a skill that can be practiced and improved, even in infancy.
Practice makes perfect. Even for babies? That's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
Consider what breastfeeding demands from an infant. First, there's motor coordination. Sucking requires precise timing of jaw and tongue movements. Second, there's physiological regulation, managing breathing while feeding. Third, and most importantly, there's frustration tolerance.
Frustration tolerance? You mean babies get frustrated during feeding?
Inevitably. Milk doesn't flow immediately or consistently. The infant must persist through moments of frustration. This, the researchers argue, is early exposure to delay of gratification. The infant learns that continued effort produces reward.
So it's like the very first self-control training, before they can even understand language or concepts.
Precisely. It's pre-verbal, preconceptual learning. The body learns before the mind can articulate. This aligns with what we know about procedural memory, learning through repetition and practice rather than conscious understanding.
Okay, but I have to ask, does this mean bottle-fed babies are at a disadvantage? That feels like a really sensitive topic for a lot of parents.
This is an important point, and I'm glad you raised it. The researchers themselves emphasize correlation does not equal causation. There are many confounding variables: maternal education, socioeconomic status, family environment, all of which also influence child development.
Right. Families who breastfeed longer might also have different resources or circumstances that help with self-control development.
Exactly. And critically, self-regulation can be developed through many pathways. Responsive parenting, secure attachment, consistent routines, and later educational experiences all contribute. Breastfeeding may be one pathway, but it's not the only one.
I think a lot of viewers might be feeling anxious hearing this. Like, did I do enough? Did I breastfeed long enough? How do we talk about this research without making parents feel judged?
This is precisely why we analyze structure rather than assign judgment. The value of this research lies in understanding mechanism, how early experiences shape development. This knowledge empowers us to create interventions that support all children, regardless of feeding method.
So instead of breastfeeding is better, we should think, how can we help all babies practice self-regulation?
Precisely. If the mechanism is early practice in regulation, we can ask, what other experiences provide similar practice? Tummy time, for instance, requires infants to work toward motor goals. Responsive feeding with bottles, where the caregiver paces the feeding, can create similar regulation demands.
That's really helpful. It's not about what you did or didn't do. It's about understanding what skills children need and how to support them.
There's also a broader societal implication. We often think of self-control as a character trait. Some people have willpower, others don't. But this research suggests it's more like a muscle that can be strengthened through practice, starting remarkably early.
So when we see adults struggling with self-control, maybe with overeating or impulse buying or emotional regulation, it might trace back to patterns established very early.
It's one factor among many. The challenge is that modern society often works against self-regulation. Instant gratification is available everywhere: fast food, social media, on-demand entertainment. We've created an environment that requires more self-control than ever before, while potentially providing fewer opportunities to practice it.
That's kind of a scary combination. We need more self-control, but we have fewer chances to build it.
That's the structural challenge. Understanding that self-regulation is a skill, one that can be developed throughout life, not just in infancy, is crucial. Adults can strengthen their executive function through practices like mindfulness, regular exercise, and cognitive training.
This conversation has really changed how I think about self-control. It's not just about willpower, it's about practice, environment, and even early experiences most of us don't remember.
And that's the beauty of studying human behavior structurally. We move away from blame toward understanding. We see that outcomes have complex causes, and that knowledge gives us tools to create change.
For parents watching who might be worried, I think the message is, Focus on providing opportunities for your children to practice regulation, whatever form that takes. And for adults, self-control is still trainable. It's never too late.
Well summarized. The study opens fascinating questions about early development, but it's one piece of a much larger puzzle. Science continues to reveal the intricate structures behind who we become.
Thanks for walking me through this, New York. I learned a lot today, and I hope our viewers did too.
Thank you for your thoughtful questions as always, Juan. And thank you to our viewers for joining us in the Human Behavior Lab. If you found this analysis valuable, please subscribe and share. Until next time, observe, analyze, understand.